Christmas in old America didn't always come with grand dinners or beautifully decorated tables. For many poor families, especially throughout rural communities and working-class neighborhoods, the holiday was simple, quiet, and built on whatever ingredients they could gather. Instead of roasted meats or fancy desserts, they relied on creativity, turning leftover scraps and inexpensive staples into meals that still carried the warmth and spirit of Christmas. Today, we're looking back at 5 forgotten Christmas foods that poor American families once shared during the holiday season. 1. Pot liquor Christmas soup. Pot liquor, or the liquid left after boiling greens, was one of the humblest Christmas dishes in the American South. Families who couldn't afford meat or elaborate meals would save the broth from cooking collard greens or turnip greens. Then stir in cornmeal, onions, or pieces of day-old bread to turn it into a warm Christmas soup. It was salty, simple, and often the only hot dish on the table. But on a cold December night, pot liquor brought comfort and a sense of togetherness to families with almost nothing else. 2. Cracklings pudding, the salt pork Christmas dish. Salt pork was one of the cheapest and most common ingredients in poor households. And the leftover cracklings, the crispy bits from rendering pork fat, were too valuable to waste. Around Christmas, families mixed these cracklings with flour, milk, and a little salt to create a heavy, savory pudding that baked into something warm and satisfying. It wasn't a dessert. It wasn't fancy. But for poor farmers and coal miners in the Appalachian region, cracklings pudding was a rare holiday dish that filled the stomach and carried the quiet warmth of winter. 3. Mock goose, a holiday dish made without meat. Roast goose was a traditional Christmas meal for wealthier families. But for those who couldn't afford meat, a clever substitute was made using only potatoes, onions, and a bit of fat. The sliced potatoes were layered with onions, seasoned with salt, pepper, and whatever herbs were available, and baked until golden. It didn't taste like goose, but it created a rich aroma in the home and gave families something that felt festive, even when money was scarce. Mock goose was a reminder that holiday spirit didn't require luxury, only creativity. 4. Red flannel Christmas hash. Red flannel hash was a dish built entirely from leftovers. Families gathered scraps of salted meat, boiled potatoes, cabbage, and added one inexpensive ingredient to make it festive: beets. The beets turned the mixture a deep red color, giving the dish a cheerful holiday appearance. Despite its humble ingredients, served hot from a cast-iron pan, red flannel hash was a comforting, filling Christmas meal in homes that couldn't afford anything else. 5. Molasses snow candy, a poor child's Christmas treat. For children in poor families, Christmas candy wasn't something you bought. It was something you made. Molasses was heated until it thickened into a dark syrup, then poured directly onto fresh snow. Within seconds, it hardened into a chewy, sweet candy that felt magical to young children. It was simple. It cost almost nothing. And it turned a snowy winter day into a small Christmas memory they never forgot. These forgotten dishes may seem unusual today, but they carried the true spirit of Christmas. For poor American families many decades ago, they weren't about luxury or abundance. They were about gratitude, creativity, and finding warmth in even the smallest things. If you'd like to explore more lost American holiday traditions, or the foods that shaped everyday life in the past, just let me know. There's still so much history waiting to be rediscovered.